Hey, what's up, ladies and gents? SpoonyPizzas here, back with some more eFootball content. Now, a lot of you have been asking which free player from these Showtime national teams should you be picking? And honestly, it's not that simple. Because your favorite streamer might say, oh yeah, pick Muani. But at the end of the day, you might have a better striker in that position. You might have already a phenomenal finisher. You might need edge crossing maybe in the wide areas. You may need a certain play style. That's why this isn't sort of an easy decision as you perhaps think it is. So you need to analyze each player and also the effectiveness of that sort of player skill that you're going to be taking on, and ask yourself, is this the best player for my team? And that's how you should do it. So I wouldn't look at these players and go, oh, well, he's 96 rated, therefore he must be better than these two 95 rated players, because honestly, the difference negligible. And also the fact that you may have, like I said, a better player in that position. So it is going to depend on your team, what you're trying to accomplish, what's your philosophy, is there any other formation or tactic you want to try and use. So for me personally, let's take a look at my side, and I'm going to sort of think about all these 5 players and see if you can work out which one I would probably opt for. Okay, so we know this is my best team. Okay, we know that we've got a whole player, and up top we have a deep line forward. So that leaves, we obviously got Amrabat who could fit in here, and we also got Spoony who could definitely do a job in my back line for sure. He's a build-up player, so I've got a build-up, a destroyer, and a build-up. That's quite a nice little combination. That means that destroyer will push out and win the ball early from especially any sort of fox in the box. Applies pressure to them pretty quickly. Whereas the build-up players, he could slot in either of these sides here, and it's not going to be that big a difference. He's going to improve my defensive line, but it's not going to be that big a difference for me. Next is Amrabat. Now, he's got visionary pass, which is better than phenomenal pass, in my opinion. I've played with Amrabat before, and he just doesn't feel very good. Feeling is very important to me, like how a player feels when you're using your left analog stick, how well they maneuver. The fact I've got Vitinha and Casado, just literally, they're like Rolls Royces in midfield. They're just running the midfield easily, just on their own. So that leaves Muani, Gnabry, and Huang. Okay, so let's analyze the top player, right? Muani. Okay, he's got phenomenal finishing, which is a very nice attribute. He's very, very quick. He's a goal poacher. Now that is definitely consideration. The phenomenal finishing isn't something I'm going to tend to use. This is where your striker is off balance. Most of the time, I'm always considerate of putting my striker in a balanced shot position before I shoot. So that is very natural to me. I think it's very hard for me to go, oh wait, all these years that I've been playing PES where I've been using the balance shot, and now suddenly I'm going to be taking shots when I'm off balance. That's not going to happen. So I'm probably not going to maximize the effectiveness of that phenomenal finishing. So then you go, well, okay, perhaps he's not for you. What about Huang? He's got phenomenal pass. That's not all that great. Visionary pass is a good one. Phenomenal pass is not so great. So that leaves Gnabry out on the right hand side. But like I said, I've got whole players across here. However, I do have additional tactics, right? I've got some other options. If we look at my bench, he's actually not in the reserves right now. He's sitting in the reserves because he's got a deform. But Savinho is a cross specialist. Gnabry is a cross specialist. What does that mean? I can have Savinho on this wing. He's going to stretch the play really nice and wide. And Gnabry on that wing, play really nice wide. With this formation and tactic, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Why? Because these two will get forward. The wide players will be so far out wide, they can't do much defending. And that's going to leave these players very isolated, very easy to play around because they're so narrow. Whereas when these are tucked in as whole players, they will come back in these positions and they'll do a pretty good job tucking in and doing the defensive work as well. Now, if I switch formation and tactic to, say, a 4-5-1, say something like this, for example, and I want to put a cross specialist on this wing, cross specialist on this wing, and then I have 2 fullback finishers. And do you know why? Because these will hug the touchline. They will literally stay so wide, and the fullback finishers will run this channel here. And that is beautiful because when you're in the wide area with that ball and you've got an option just here to play passes into Messi or pull it back to Pedri, that is very, very nice indeed. And the same for this side. If I've got Gnabry hugging the wing, got Trent Alexander-Arnold offering a real threat. So this is what I'm thinking about. And this is why Gnabry is right for my team. Because whilst the edge crossing isn't that effective, he's got cross specialist, which makes him useful to me. Now, I've played with Gnabry before, and honestly, he doesn't feel all that great, like at your fingertips in past sort of packs. But since the change with the I think it was version 4 update, the way they adjusted the dribbling, tight possession, acceleration, speed, and balance, and those all having to be roughly the same, that's going to be very, very nice for him because they are almost, they're identical right now. The balance, the acceleration, the dribbling, tight possession, and ball control is pretty much identical. So he should feel very, very good in at your fingertips. So it's going to be interesting just to see how well he does. He's obviously got some good lofted passing, good curling ability. Like I said, the edge crossing, it looks hard to defend, but in all honesty, I found that I probably scored just as many, as if not more, from normal crosses than I did from edge crossing. And that was with David Beckham. So Muani has got a very, very nicely rounded build here. He's got some good physical contact, good balance. He is going to be a speedster. So, like I said, I've got Mbappe as a deep line forward, and that is working so well. The way I get to choose when I trigger his runs, because he's dropping off first. I lay it off. He spins in behind or looks for little 1-2s around the edge of the box. He's almost unstoppable. And I don't need a goal poacher right now. I just don't see the need. Unless I change my tactics, I don't see the need for a goal poacher. The only time I think I would go for a goal poacher now is if I went two up front. And I just don't see me playing a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 all that often. Bastoni, he's got the fortress ability. I've had this before. Honestly, I cannot feel or tell the difference. It's very, very hard for me to say that this actually has an impact on the game because it just doesn't feel that way. The game just doesn't feel like it changes in any way. But he is a build-up style defender. So if you need a build-up style defender and you need someone who's tall, he's fast, he's going to have great defensive capabilities, he's got some decent passing ability as well. Honestly, he would probably be number one choice if I didn't have already good defenders. Amrabat here, he's got that visionary pass, which is the better one of the passing sort of traits. But stats wise, track back, interception blocker, he's going to be like a hard-working defensive midfielder. And he's 180 centimeters in height, so he's going to be able to win those aerial balls as well. He's quite physical. But honestly, like any player could probably do that job what he's going to be doing, like the defensive work. You can get anyone to do that. But the difficulty is having someone on the ball who feels good and just can progress the play in a positive way. And that's why I think Vitinha and Casado, I can't imagine him displacing either of those players, even though they're player of the week players. And then you got Huang He-chan, a dummy runner. Now, if you know me, I love my dummy runners because they will drag defenses out. But you need like two strikers ideally, or a striker and a support striker, someone following up. So he creates the space for your other striker. So that's perhaps the only reason I wouldn't choose him. And that phenomenal pass isn't that great either. So you could go for another dummy runner. I've already got one in Gerard who already does a good job for me. So I can't see him displacing him. So like I said, you need to look at these players, evaluate what you need. Don't listen to your favorite streamer. Just go off what you need for your team. If you've got strong players in every position, then it's going to be much harder to make a recommendation. But I think, for me personally, I think Muani, Bastoni, and Gnabry would be the choices that I would perhaps go for on my main squad. If I had to make a choice, I think it would be a Bastoni because I've got three really good defenders, but my substitute defender on the bench isn't all that great. So that's where I would probably strengthen. I've already got Beckham on my main team, so I've already got edge crossing on that right hand side. I don't need Gnabry, I don't believe. It's nice to see that, Gnabry, who is quick, he's very, very quick, has got edge crossing. Normally I play with Beckham, so he's not the quickest. You sort of have to play the ball around, make 2 or 3 passes before I can get a cross in. With Gnabry, I could perhaps sprint away from the defenders and whip balls into the box very, very quickly. And like I said, that right-hand side for me has been a little bit of a problem. Even with the 3-4-3, even though I like whole players in that formation and tactic, I probably would give Gnabry a good run of games on that right-hand side. So yeah, it's very, very difficult to determine who you should get. But let me know down in the comments who you do opt for, and let me know how you're getting on, because I think that would be very interesting. But hopefully that's going to sort of influence your decision by listening to me talk about these players for the Showtime national teams. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.